stars align, just come to me. Tarot and cosmos, your fate's inside. Danyell, Carmelita, shining bright.
Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Today we are talking about the month of August. August is a major turning point. We have Chiron opening up the month of August, and it will start to retrograde in the sign Taurus. We have solar eclipse season, eclipse season, and we have a solar eclipse. In a sign Leo, we have a lunar eclipse in a sign Pisces. A lot of healing, a lot of patterns being made in the sky, a lot of releasing outdated patterns. Some releasing is in the form of death as well. We'll talk about that, in a transitioning of some sort. And Venus is a huge part of this month, and I will bring it all together. How is everyone? Before we even get started, I want to say hi to my newbies. As I said earlier, I am an astrologer and a tarot reader, so we have both of that in this episode today. Welcome if you are listening to this via podcast, or if you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or X. Welcome if you are listening to this via podcast. You're probably listening to this, I don't know where you listen to your podcast, Amazon, Apple, Spotify. I am available on all those platforms and more. And I'm going to break this down weekly. And then I've decided to do something new and post them up week by week on Monday. I'm going to focus my energy on some other astrological content that will be really amazing. Also, two updates for people who are not new here. I have a community page, and I'm slowly dissolving that page. I'm still posting stuff on there, and I'm trying to transfer to Substack. We'll see how that goes. The saga continues on that. I've been moving very slow with that, by the way. What else do we have? That's it for the updates. But if you guys are everyone, new and old, please don't forget to give me my flowers. I do this for free. If you want to tip me, though, I do have a tip jar down below. But if you're not tipping me, not since, some of you may. But if you decide not to tip me, how about you just give me a thumbs up, do an extra bonus, and put an emoji, your zodiac sign, down in the comment box. That really helps me. It promotes my content, and help a sister out. All right. Okay. So let's first start with the calendar. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So August 6th, we have the sun is going to trine Saturn, that is retrograding. On the 10th, Venus is going to trine Pluto. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Right? On the 10th, also, we have Venus that is going to oppose Neptune, and Mars will be trining the North Node and sextile the South Node. On the 11th, Mercury is going to be opposing Pluto, which is retrograding. Also on the 11th, Mercury is going to trine Neptune, and Venus is going to trine Uranus. Now, I do want you to understand there is a strong pattern happening in the sky when so many aspects happen in the same day, or even like a few days apart. There is a strong aspect happening, a pattern happening. I will explain what that is. So some of these things may seem redundant when I am going over the video, but I'll give you the big picture and we'll break it down little by little as the day happens. But you're going to feel this ultimately at the beginning of August, okay? Especially around this eclipse, which happens on the 12th. We have Mercury that is going to do some sextile to Uranus and sextile to Venus, which is also involving. We'll get into it. Okay. I'll speak on it later. I don't want to keep saying the same thing. On the 15th, Mercury is going to be conjunct Jupiter. And then on the 17th, we have it squaring, Mars is squaring Neptune. Mercury is trining Saturn. Venus is sextile Jupiter on the 17th. On the 21st, Venus is going to be opposing Saturn. And then on the 22nd, we have the sun in Leo and is in opposition to the North Node. That means it will be conjunct the South Node. And then on the 25th, we have Mercury that's opposing in Leo, because Mercury is just following the sun, opposing the South Node in Aquarius. On the 27th, we have Mercury that is going to conjunct the sun. That is a Cazimi. And we have Mercury that's squaring Uranus. On the 28th, we have the sun squaring Uranus. Now the sun's following Mercury. And then on the 31st, we're closing out the month with Jupiter trining Neptune. I mean, not Neptune, Saturn in Aries. That's very positive, closing that out. The total solar eclipse is on August 12th at 10:36 a.m. and it's in the sign Leo. It's going to be at 20 degrees. We have a partial lunar eclipse on the 27th of August. That's at 9:18 p.m. in a sign Pisces at 4 degrees. The ingresses, meaning the planets that are changing signs this month. August 6th, Venus will turn into Libra. And then August 9th, Mercury will turn into Leo. August 11th, Mars will go into Cancer, which will be interesting because then on the 12th, we have that solar eclipse. On August 22nd, the sun will enter Virgo. Happy Virgo solar return to all my Virgos this month. And then August 25th, towards the end of the month, Mercury will enter Virgo. Chiron station retrogrades on August 3rd, what I talked about in my opening. Mercury post shadow phase starts to end. I mean, not starts, ends officially August 6th. I'm so excited about that. But then we have Venus. It will pre-shadow retrograde August 31st. First. So this will be very interesting. Major themes of the month is relationships. If I haven't said that already, if you guys are watching this, and I'll try to link this on the podcast, I have a visual calendar, and there's some keynotes for each day. Also, if you are someone who is part of my community, I have the best dates to do all these things, like have a party, do something in business, be in deep thought, spirituality. All those dates are already up on the group. And yeah, and you already had that heads up. So that is what we have. Let's break it down, shall we? Here is my beautiful chart for you guys who are watching. If you are listening, I'm going to explain each thing that is happening on my chart. Okay. And then I will break this down weekly. So first we have August 3rd. Let me go to August 3rd here. August 3rd, we have Chiron. Chiron is in Taurus, and then it starts to retrograde. Chiron in Taurus is all about self worth, money, stability, security. Could be about the body, especially if you value that, survival patterns, and personal values. As a collective, it could be the cost of living, food, agriculture, housing, banking, finances, labor, wages, and land and natural resources. When things start to retrograde, meaning that the process of healing, because Chiron is the planet of healing, starts to go internal, or it starts to repeat some stuff because you didn't listen to it the first goddamn time. Okay. So now it's like you need to listen to me. Old insecurities may return so you can understand where they begin. This is less about external validation and more about rebuilding confidence from within. This is also about pleasure seeking, because Taurus is about pleasuring and laziness, and there may be some healing with that. Chiron also is going to be a lot of victimizing in those themes, like people who are victims of money and victims of banking. So let's look out for that. I just want you to understand that it starts to retrograde, so things start to be a little bit different when it comes to healing. Are you getting healing, or are you repeating the process of needing healing? Okay. Now, August 4th, we have the sun that is going to trine Saturn. This is very positive. The sun is our identity, it's our confidence, it's our purpose, our visibility. Saturn represents discipline, responsibility, maturity, long-term results, and this trine builds our confidence. And it also not only builds the confidence, but makes it more productive. Okay. Saturn is very realistic. So I love when Saturn has a positive aspects, because you're not in the clouds. You're being very realistic. On a personal level, this is personal leadership, creative discipline, building confidence through action, taking yourself more seriously, thinking more long term with your plans and with that ego, and turning talent into mastery. The sun in Leo is all about me, 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 and also dealing with some father energy as well, and productivity, which is perfect for Saturn in Aries, which is all about the entrepreneurship. This is a trine that is dealing with fire element, and a fire element is very passionate, is very external, very masculine energy. Collective themes are leaderships presenting structure plans, government or executive decisions, long-term investments in creative industries, greater focus on responsibility and leadership. Now, also the same day, we have, where is it? Venus is at 29 degrees and it will enter Leo. So when it's at 29 degrees in Virgo, there's an urgency to close things out, especially the details of relationships or any type of details or perfectionism when it comes to your aesthetics. And on the day of August 6th, it will enter Libra at 0 degrees. Once it enters Leo, once it enters Libra, it's going to make a pattern. I'll discuss that in a minute. But first, Venus is at home in Libra, okay? Meaning that it's very, very potent and very strong. So the themes of relationships, beauty, being very diplomatic, social harmony, it becomes more potent and extra strong. Okay. Venus is also going to, once it enters Libra, that is August 6th, it is not only extra strong. So put that down as one. It will be trining Pluto, that is retrograding in Aquarius. It's going to trine Uranus, which is not retrograding, which is in the sign Gemini. Is also going to have an opposition to Neptune. Okay. These things are anything that in early degrees is going to have a huge situation with. Also, it's quincunx Chiron, that is healing, the planet of healing, right? So Neptune is not only entering Libra and being extra strong, but it has some very, very strong aspects happening. And it's going to happen the whole beginning of the month. So get ready for that. Neptune in Aries, opposite of Venus, is going to be the huge issue: deception, maybe illusions in relationship. Venus in Libra is creating a kite pattern. Beauty meets destiny. The kite pattern takes on the ease with that grand trine, but the opposition is that Neptune, and Neptune is really important with this because Neptune represents deception, illusions, secrets, addiction, like you're addicted to a relationship, maybe codependency of some sort happening. Venus in Libra, again, is about relationships, beauty, fashion, art, harmony. Could be about finances, being diplomatic, also law as well. It's trining Pluto. So, relationships, power struggles, that could be softening. Communication is involved here. Maybe you're attracted to someone who's changing your future. Maybe there's something dealing with that's something that's very out of the box, like people who are, what are those, monogamy or polygamous. I can't think of things. A queer relationship could be happening here. It's trining Uranus, and expect surprises, something unexpected, like a love story, maybe something viral, something fast, maybe a new friendship in relationships, or sudden financial opportunities. Maybe it's an air trine, so anything dealing with relationships, socializing and communication, all that. Now the opposition here is Neptune and its quincunx Chiron. So the Neptune is idolizing people, ignoring the red flags, escapism, confusion in relationships, unrealistic expectations. Okay, work on some compassion. Whenever there's an opposition, it means it can't see eye to eye. There is an uncomfortable energy of healing yourself and healing what you value. Remember, we open up the month with Chiron retrograding. So there could be something that needs to be repeated and you haven't done it, and you're sacrificing yourself for a relationship. Okay. So just remember that. We'll continue on this theme. Also, on August 6th, Mercury post shadow phase ends. That is amazing. Okay. Yes. The conversations that were delayed. Once Mercury stopped retrograding, I was able to organize my closet. Things were getting a little bit more clear. I have a plan. So that helps me out because we're dealing with Virgo energy in the sky. So the details of things and organization gets better. And on top of that, Cancer deals with home. Okay. Conversations were delayed or confusion may be finally resolving. Plans can move forward. You can travel. Your dealings with issues of family, mom, home, emotions, and personal security. All that gets better. Okay. Now, so this is closing out the first week of August. Okay. And this is a time for healing, building confidence. There is a focus on relationships. A lot of focus on relationships or finances or aesthetics. Okay. Focus on self worth, financial stability, responsible leadership, a relationship, having a balance. Maybe the codependency could be an issue. Also, too, completing Mercury retrograde. That's great. So I find that to be the best news ever. Also, too, it's a great week. Remember to stroke that ego and to think long term. Um, Strengthen your foundation before chasing expansion will be the advice of the first week. I'm going to pull a card for this first week. And we have, and this is August 1st to the 8th. And we have the Devil card. This is all about toxic energy. This also could be dealing with finances, but it's definitely dealing with trying to be the greatest of all time. There is materialism, toxic energy, obsession, attachment, addiction, oppression, abusive, shadow self, materialism, sexual lust, greed, and envy. That is very much that Neptune opposing Venus. Also, for this first week of August, there's a heavy load that we are carrying. I'm going to say we because this is a collective reading. Too many burdens, extra responsibilities, effort, stress, and exhaustion, duty, obligations, burning out, and struggles. I do want you to understand that this is the end of that journey of this heavy load that you are carrying. And it could be that you are buying too many things and you need to declutter. Okay. That is definitely something that I see when I look at these two things. You're carrying too much materialism. You're having too much toxic energy. You need to cleanse the energy. Okay. So that is what we have for the first week. Let's continue on to the next week, shall we? Now, let's see. August 9th is what we continue. If you hear anything in the background, it is Sunday. I am filming this live, unedited, and my kids are home. I hear a vacuum, okay, which is great, positive energy that I liked. Energy is not the word. I'm doing my video, I say energy. Anyway, August 9th, we have Mercury. It officially enters the building in Leo. If you didn't know, anything that first enters Leo is entering this basket where it poses Pluto. It has dealings with Chiron, Uranus, and Neptune. Again, a lot of patterns in the sky. Mercury is in Leo. It's all about bold communication. It's very warm, very compassionate. There is a lot of drama and expression. Now, again, Mercury is going to sextile Venus in Libra. It's also opposing Aquarius, Pluto. It's also having a sextile with Uranus. Sextiles are opportunities in the sky that God is giving us. Opposition means you can't see eye to eye. It's trining Neptune and Aries, which is positive. The only negative I see here is this opposition to Pluto, which is retrograding in Aquarius. Okay. So when you have this energy, Pluto says, speak the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. There needs to be some harmony or balance. Whenever there's an opposition, just think of it as two people in a room and they don't see eye to eye. They're not agreeing. They won't agree to come and do a compromise. So Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius. There needs to be a transformation with the future or caring about the people. Mercury in Leo only cares about the self, the I, the ego. And there is an issue between the ego and the we. There is an issue between the leader and the people. Okay. Neptune is having positive energy with this, though. It leads with vision and compassion. Uranus says, think differently, do something out of box, be fast, communicate. Libra is also in communication, but it's in communication of grace and it seeks harmony. This is great for launching any content, public speaking, writing, podcasting, teaching, negotiations, creative projects, announcing some ideas. But there could be some issues when it comes to AI. There could be some issues when it comes to people rebelling and thinking outside of the box. There could be an issue of trying to be right, because that Leo energy is very confrontational and it's a fixed sign and it's very stubborn, turning every conversation into a performance, into look at me. But there is confidence with speaking. There is compassion with speaking, a great story time, a lot of creativity, especially with Neptune here. And Uranus can make things go very viral. So there is a positivity here, but be careful with the transformation and the intensity, or maybe the psychology or the taboo of things. Okay. That is what we have once Mercury enters Leo. I find that the Leo aspect might be more positive, but that's my personal experiences with my natal chart. The Leo has been very positive, but you can have issues with the we and technology. So be aware of that. Venus is going to trine Pluto, which is still dealing with that energy of what we have, this pattern in the sky. Venus is going to trine Pluto and it's retrograding. And now This is very great, right? This is a lot of intense relationships, and maybe you are going to have some therapy when you're in a relationships. Very powerful when it comes to any type of relationship that you're having during this time. There could be something dealing with finances too. Venus seeks harmony. Pluto likes to deepens and it transforms whatever it touches. Very intense attraction here. Emotional honesty, healing power dynamics, deepening intimacy, transforming your values, strong financial strategic energy, and meaningful collaborations. Very positive, this trine. It is an air trine. At the same time, it's very positive with Uranus as well. There is this opposition to Neptune. Again, the illusion of something. So be careful of that, because it's like you could be idolizing someone who's supposed to give you this relationship. Like they came and they transformed your life, and now you're idolizing them, or there's mixed signals, or you're projecting fantasies into this relationship. There could be a death of some sort and you're not happy, because Neptune does represent an ending to a new beginning. There's an ending and then there's a new beginning. Okay, unclear financial decisions. There could be some compassion and some forgiveness and addiction. Just be aware of that. The same day that Mars, I just want you to understand, at the beginning of August, this is all happening. It's the same thing. I'm just trying to word it little by little, but just know that relationships, there is some deception here. Now, if we're talking, that's personal, and it could be also personal. You're dealing with finances, and there's some deception with finances, or something is being secretive, or you can't quite see it. There's an illusion here, a rose colored lens. All right. So that's what you have on a personal level. On a global scale, this could be dealing with the partnership, an ally, and you could be talking about America and Israel, or America and anyone else, or whatever country. There are allies, because Venus represents your allies, but there's deception and secrets here too, or a secret war, because that's what Neptune retrograding in Aries means, a secret war. Okay, so we have that happening. Now, this is something that's not dealing with this pattern, but Mars is at 29 degrees in Gemini, and now it's trining the North Node that is retrograding, and it's also sextile the South Node. This is great because Mars represents action, and the North Node represents your future and direction. So this trying can give you some curiosity, communication, networking, experimenting. Really great for having some important conversations. Maybe you're changing professions and there's some connections there. Maybe you're learning a useful something with technology, starting a podcast or a platform, sharing your ideas, meeting people who influence your future. Great for tech work. Maybe there will be some new technology coming out around this time. Communication breakthroughs. Gemini represents the youth. So maybe there's a youth led movement, education, there's innovation here, digital organization as well. But there is releasing something that works really good with something, the releasing of the past and going towards the future as well. Now, on August 11th, which we still have this pattern that I was talking about earlier, but it just becomes more official on August 11th. And that's when Mercury officially opposes Pluto. It was already happening, but this is forming this basket, which we also have this rare well, I can't think of the word. I wrote it down, but I wrote it down. This other rare why can't I think of the pattern? Anyway, but we have this strong pattern in the sky, and Mercury's involved with this. Mercury's having some opposition with Pluto means intense conversation, obsessive thinking, power struggles in communication, revealing secrets, difficulty. There's difficulty in these conversations or discussions. Maybe there's some psychological insight, but you're not seeing eye to eye. A lot of investigation, and it's like, whoa, you were not supposed to find that stuff out about me, and it's on stage. Okay, this could be some leaks. This could be political confrontations, corporate revelations, major media stories, a lot of debate. Mercury represents debate. This also is changing something when it comes to the way we drive, because Pluto in Aquarius is navigation. This is driving, and the navigation is not really working. Okay. Mercury at the same time, again, is trining Neptune. A lot of planets are touching each other, especially any planets in early degrees. So Mars in Cancer is in early degree. Mercury is at 0 3 degrees. 0 is at 3 degrees. Venus is at 4 degrees. Pluto is at 3 degrees. Saturn is at 3. And Neptune's at 4 degrees. Chiron's at 0 degrees. All these planets are affecting each other. So again, in August, when I'm explaining things, it seems redundant, but they are all touching each other. Okay, so there's major themes in the way that we think and being boastful in the way that we think. There's major themes in relationships and aesthetic and fashion. There's major themes of power to the people and changing that, and the intensity of AI and navigation. Now we have Mars in Cancer. I'll talk about that in a second. Major things of things going viral are podcasters, journalists, anyone who's in spreading the news, talking or communicating. This could be writers. Major themes in healing things that deal with banking and finances and your self-worth, and major themes of deception of anything that's very violent, deception of anything that is dealing with war. Okay, on a personal level, this is compassion of the self as well, and a lot of drugs with the body. I always think of Ozempic, GPL1s, and peptides. That's all new. These are all new drugs that deals with the body, and now there's strong aspects dealing with that as well. Okay, Mercury is trining though. Neptune, so that's positive news with the GPL1s or any type of medication that you're taking. But Neptune is not getting along with the aesthetics of things. So be aware of that. I didn't say that earlier about any type of medication that is dealing with the body. But great for a conversation or creative writing, spiritual messages, poetry, storytelling, film, music, anything that inspires you. Venus trining that Uranus is also unexpected attraction, new friendships, being different, being out of the box. Like I said, that polygamy, the queer relationships, trying a new style, sudden invitations to parties, financial opportunities, or meeting someone who's inspiring, but they're quite unusual or quirky. This could be like a new fashion trend, viral beauty moments, digital dating shifts, or technology changing social interactions. Venus is positive with Uranus. However, remember this issue. Major issue of deception and secrecy. And I think that Venus opposing this energy, when it comes to like having a new fashion trend, it seems like it's amazing, but it's like you signed up for something that could cost a little bit more. So be aware of that. Now, Mars enters the building. Okay, now all these other planets were at early degrees. Now Mars is in Cancer. It becomes more protective when it's in Cancer, more emotional, more defensive. It's all about protecting your mom, your homeland. So let's see how this works for USA, America, Kaka. Okay, now, but it has 7 aspects happening in the sky. We have one, an air grand trine that is in the sign Venus, it's in the sign Pluto, and it's in the sign Uranus. And this is all about ideas, communication, technology, networking. All that's going to be positive. Okay. Learning, all that's going to be very positive. Now we have the kite. And I want you to know that Venus is involved with this. Okay. Venus and Pluto are mostly involved with all of these planets. So that means they are the most important, all of these aspects. Okay. Now we have another pattern in the sky. This is a kite pattern. And this is involving Venus. This is involving Pluto. This is involving Neptune. This is involving Uranus. And this is a grand trine. Very positive for my artists, my creators, my healers, my spiritual teachers, my content creators. Okay. A lot of themes of dreams and spirituality and visions and faith, and very positive with that energy. Now we have another kite, which is dealing with Pluto, which is dealing with Uranus, which is dealing with Mercury, which is dealing with Venus. Okay. This is all about huge announcements, viral stories, breakthroughs, important conversations, new media, AI, all that. Major themes in communication. All this is happening at the beginning to the middle of August. Okay. This is something that, as an astrologer, I haven't seen because all these planets, especially these outer planets being in outer degrees, this is something that is new. So I wonder what other astrologers have to predict. I didn't do the history on this, and that's very important as an astrologer. I will follow back and come back to you on that. So check out the short form content because I would definitely come back to that. So not only do we have that And Mercury in that aspect, I find, is the most important part. So again, that could be something that's on the news, or you could be getting an email with that. Now, here's the mystic triangle, right? And that's another pattern that is happening at the beginning and the middle of August, and especially with Mars in the sign Cancer. But you have Mercury, you have Venus, you have Pluto, and you have Neptune. Now, this is very positive, right? This is all about, also we have an eclipse coming up, and these patterns will still be here, okay? But this is also about Mercury opposing Pluto. There's opposition here. Venus opposing Neptune. Opposition, cannot see eye to eye. Cannot see eye to eye. There are challenges here, okay? And then this is what I was thinking. Rosetta. Rosetta. This is where Mars enters the building with one of the patterns, and it's also dealing with Venus. It's also dealing with Pluto. It's also dealing with the healing planet, and it's also dealing with itself, Mars. Which is, this could be like creative thinking and learning through experiences, a lot of healing. However, there is some big issues with relationships and action moving forward, you being comfortable in a relationship. There's some issues here. Again, the focus is Venus. Venus is involved here. Relationships, value, creativity, beauty, and self-worth. Major theme, it keeps being redundant. Something about relationships and partnerships, okay? We'll talk about how this affects globally, but I just want you to understand personally. Something with aesthetics. Are you too much into aesthetics? That could be me, okay? Check out my Venus videos, which are very superficial, and they're just talking about the aesthetics of signs. I will get deeper, but we got to start somewhere. So you have that. Now, we also have a T-square, which is dealing with Neptune, which is dealing with Mars in the sign Cancer, which is dealing with Venus. So not only do you have this action not going along with partnership, but now you have this pressure, you have emotional reactions, you have surrendering, pausing, listening, something's ending, deception again, okay? Mars is in Cancer. It wants to protect what matters, and there's something that's affecting the relationships, and there's something that's dealing with deception. This is a cardinal pattern, meaning that things are new here and you don't like what's new. Also, we have Pluto, Chiron, and Mercury. It has a T-square. The truth hurts before it heals. And I just want you to know the two major planets of this month, okay? There's going to be huge themes with Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius is dealing with the future, the collective transformation, intensity with anything futuristic, Waymo, navigation, AI, anything dealing with the future. Pluto in Aquarius also represents the intellect. So something involving the intellect, social evolution, transcendence, wants to solve a problem. There is obsession here, obsession with anything dealing with Aquarius, the communication, the future. Okay, now Libra themes. This is the queen of all this pattern in the sky. In the middle of August, you're talking about once Venus enters Libra, things are going to shift. Huge themes in relationship, but bigger than ever before, because not only is Libra at home here, but there is strong connections with all of these planets, and these major themes in the sky makes things a little bit confusing because it's all over the place. But the major theme that will be obvious is Pluto and Venus is all about relationships, being diplomatic, your money, your harmony. You're at a party, you're at a social event, you value whatever you value. You could value your hair. That could be a thing, especially in the sign Leos, happening here. A lover, a spouse, relationship, a co-worker. Again, something dealing with law. It also is something that deals with creativity and beauty and aesthetics. Your social standing. All that will be involved here. And then we have the eclipse happening. Okay, so be aware. Don't say I didn't warn you, because I did. And this is still in the second week of August. Okay, August 12th, Mercury sextiles Uranus. Great for technology, great for AI. And then on the same day of August 12th, of Mercury having this great aspect, but also everything else in the sky, and Venus being the main theme, we have the total solar eclipse in Leo. It's at 20 degrees. 20 degrees is a Sagittarius degree. This too could represent allies for America or any country that you're in, but it's about expansion, adventure, higher learning, travel, faith, publishing, teaching, truth, philosophy, freedom, vision, again the world. Okay, something globally will, it already probably happened because eclipse energy starts early. Let me explain to you what a solar eclipse is. Okay, a solar eclipse are new moons. That means when these two planets get together, the moon and the sun, and then they bring something tangible, something stronger. It brings something new. However, this is attached to the south node. So you have something new, but then you have something ending because the south node represents releasing. The south node is unraveling, endings, loss, karmic completions. Okay, it could bring something from the past life back for connections, its unresolved issues, or hidden talents. It requires surrendering, trusting, of just holding on something to the past. Okay, or it could be an ending of something. So something new and something ending. Okay, this energy could start, that could start it up to 3 months ago. This energy can last all the way up to 3 months. So be aware of that. The degree of the planet that it hits is at 20 degrees. That means that Jupiter, when it hits 20 degrees of Leo, something big's going to happen. Mercury, when it hits 20 degrees of Leo, something big's going to happen. Okay. Also, this is a total lunar eclipse. And this is the strongest. So you're already feeling this. If you haven't, this is going to affect anyone who has planets around this degrees. This is going to affect all of my fixed signs. So that means my Tauruses, if you have around 20 degrees, all of my Aquarius, if you have around 20 degrees, all of my Scorpios, if you have around 20 degrees. This will benefit people who have fire signs around 20 degrees. That's my Sagittarius and my Aries. May not feel like it now, but it will in the long run. This is a blood moon. Anytime you have an eclipse, this is going to represent great for journaling, especially because we have Mercury in the same sign. Let me see. Okay, so August 20th, write that down. That's an important date because that's when Mercury will hit 20 degrees. Something big is going to happen that day. Jupiter will hit 20 degrees October 3rd. Get ready for that. Something big is going to happen. This new moon total solar eclipse is going to deal with leadership, visibility, creativity, confidence, romance, children, fame, entertainment, self-expression, and recognition. You guys, I have to turn the air on. Because I am so hot. Hold on.
Cancer sun, I feel what you don't say. Scorpio moon, I see through the gray. I'm tuned to your soul, I read the unseen. 8th house mind, 12th house dreams. Tarot in my hands, planets in my sight. I decode the dark, turn shadow to light. Every chart's a mirror.
Whew. Y'all, I had to grab the fan. Anyway, hello. Let me look at some comments before I continue on this eclipse. What a wonderful surprise alive for Danyell. Thank you, Sandra. It is a bar-bought basket. Yes, even I can't remember it. It is insane, the patterns. And if you can see this visually, it is a basket. All these planets at 0 beginning degrees, 0 to 5 degrees is insane. It is very, very, very rare. Okay. Now we have an eclipse. Thank God the eclipse is not at the 0 degrees, but we do have this 0 degrees, not 0 degrees. We do have this eclipse in Leo. It's at 20 degrees. It is a huge theme. Something big is going to happen with Trump, JD Vance. I'll continue that. But personally, this could be something that is being pushed in the limelight. This is something that you could be launching, maybe a creative chapter. Maybe you're becoming more visible. Maybe there's new leadership roles. Maybe you're changing, involving. Maybe something dealing with children or romance or reclaiming your confidence. Maybe you're letting go of fear that you used to have. Especially when it comes to that ego. Again, this is going to be as a collective, something big with leaders, celebrities, entertainment, royal families, sports, national pride, public recognition, and youth dealing and children. Now, I do know in the news, and I don't really follow the news that much, but I do know in the news there's intensity with wars. That could be this eclipse happening because you are dealing with leaderships and impulsivity happening really fast. And Mars enters Cancer at the same time as this eclipse at 0 degrees. That's very potent. Okay. Not that Mars likes to be in Cancer, it moves indirectly, it moves sideways. So, something in that regards. Now, I do want you to understand I looked at Trump's chart. This eclipse is close to Trump's Mars in Leo. So you're dealing with war. It's also dealing with temper, something that's very fast and impulsive and immediate. It's also sitting next to his south node and his ascendant. It's opposing his descendant, which is in opposition to Melania. It's in opposition to JD Vance. It's in opposition to Israel, the allies of America. Okay. So we do have that happening. Let's see what continues with him. When I looked at JD Vance's chart, he is a Leo rising as well. So something changing with his relationships because this eclipse is sitting next to his Venus, which is sitting next to his ascendant, meaning that he needs partnerships to be validated. Okay. So something could be happening with him or his self worth as a leader. Now, Melania, she does not have a birth time, but I did see that she has a Venus at 28 degrees and a Mercury at 22 degrees in the sign Taurus. This could be a separation, okay, in their relationship. Will we see it? I'm not sure because I don't have a time, but let's see what it has to say. Lastly, Israel, it has a stallion in Leo. The eclipse is in their Mars. The eclipse is on top of their Mars and Saturn, which represents endings, negativity, doomsday, and war, challenges, delay, hardships, immediate separation. Also, their south node is on their Mars and Leo. So, again, letting go. Let me see what we have here. Sandra and Danyell, YouTube's got another astrologer. Andre Car. Oh, I don't know how to spell his name. What is this? Kark is named after Andre Barbault. Isn't it fascinating? I'm gonna have to do some research on that and look at that. But thank you for sharing, Sandra. I enjoy when you comment on the videos. Okay. So that is what we have for the eclipse. Don't say I didn't tell you. That is the tea what we have for JD Vance, Trump, Melania, and Israel. So let's see how that continues. And I want to give my condolences for anyone who's experiencing any type of loss, because every time we have eclipse season, that is kind of what you get. You get a loss, and this one it's a strong doozy. Especially with Leo themes, someone who's very prideful or leadership or very wears their heart on their sleeves. There is a releasing of that energy, which I give my everyone who is dealing with any type of loss or change, but then it has to have a new life to start. It's very hard for everyone. Okay, August 13th, we're leaving the first eclipse, and we're entering August 13th. And August 13th, Mercury is going to sextile Venus. This is positive, right? Especially if you want to. God has put some opportunities out here with having some discussions with relationships or negotiations or dating, or maybe you're having an invitation come your way and maybe you say yes to it. Anything dealing with contracts, apologies, creative writing works really good. August 15th, Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter officially, and that's very positive, right? Because, well, positive and Jupiter is a very positive planet, but it can expand a lot of things that you don't want expanding, okay? Expanding your ideas, conversations, teaching, publishing, optimism. A big announcement for sure could be teaching, podcasting. Maybe you're launching a YouTube channel, or maybe you get more views on YouTube. Public speaking, publishing, creative ideas, travel planning, increased confidence, expanding the minds. A gift for planning and negotiating, a lot of optimism. This is good and bad, but strong. Okay, so you could be exaggerating, over promising, talking too much, missing important details. Believing confidence automatically equals accuracy. Be aware of that. Again, arrogant, boastful, overly optimistic, exaggerating your statements, taking on too many promises. Make sure you fact check anything that you are experiencing on the second week of August. Okay, I'm going to pull some cards on the second week of August, but the major theme is visibility, truth, and new beginnings. Again, we have Mercury, it enters Leo and immediately has some oppositions with Pluto. We have Neptune dealing with this, and Uranus and Venus and Jupiter. A lot of themes dealing with communication in a very bold way. Also, too, we have the solar eclipse in a sign Leo, and that's beginning a new chapter. So focus on communication, creativity, leadership, relationships, visibility, important announcements, and new beginnings. That's going to be the focus of that second week of August. Speak confidently, but stay grounded. Eclipse develops more. May eclipse develops may eclipse. What was I thinking? Eclipse can develop something bigger, but you can't quite see it yet. Okay. I was trying to read it word for word, but I can't. I don't know. Sometimes I speak into my notes and I don't do a spell check. I have a Mars in Gemini, so I talk really fast and move really fast. Okay. Okay. So let me pull some cards for the second week. We have the Nine of Wands. Okay. The second week is everyone needs to stand guard. Okay. Think long term, persevere. You may deal with some wounds here, but there needs to be resilience. There's testing of the faith, which is very Jupiter. This is the final push. This is the boundary. Very Saturn. Last stand, grit, close to success, fatigue. You may be feeling tired. Let me see what else. Ooh, something is going to shake the core, shake the foundation. We also have the Tower card. There's going to be sudden change, something very fast, maybe a revelation of some sort, an awakening, a radical shift happening for the second week of August. So be prepared for that. Happy early healing. Yes, to your precious son. Cannot be loved too much. Okay, thank you. And then birthday. Oops, happy early birthday. No, my son's birthday isn't coming up. I don't know if I said that, but he's a Capricorn. He's got a Leo moon though. So there is that. That is enough for me to deal with. Okay, what was I doing? If you didn't know, in astrology, your moon sign you get from your mom. So what was I doing with my son? I know what I was doing, but my Scorpio moon won't allow me to share. Anyway, so let's get into the third week of August, and that's going to be August 17th. And Mars is going to officially square Neptune, which is retrograding in Aries. So the motivation is very low. Emotional exhaustion, confusion about what to do, where to move. Maybe you're acting out of fear. A lot of action, but it's lost in a sauce. People can't see you. You're behind. You're behind the scenes, and people can't quite see you. Or maybe you're avoiding something. You're misreading someone's intentions. Rest before making major decisions. Clarity may be limited, especially when it comes to your action and moving forward, especially dealing with some emotions. Okay. Mercury also is going to trine Saturn. Very, very positive here, though. So while you can't move forward physically, you can be thinking forward. Okay. Rest before making any decisions. I already said that. This is an excellent time for disciplined thinking and serious conversations, strategic planning, mature conversations, writing with structure, teaching, business planning, following through. Mercury in Leo is very bold, and now it's dealing with some Saturn energy, which is going to make you think long term. Okay. So while you can't move forward, you can definitely plan out and write forward. Venus is sextiled Jupiter. Both of these are positive planets. So the third week of August, you're opening up with positivity and opportunity for some joyful social elements. So actions may be hesitant on that side, but you can have some romance, some celebration, some social opportunities, even dealing with some positivity when it comes to social media and you being on stage as well. I want you to understand what is not in the sky. Can you guys see what's really not in the sky? We do have Chiron in Taurus, but there is no other earth sign. So be aware of not being grounded and being too out in the sky and not focus on grounded energy. Okay. August 21st, we have Venus is going to oppose Saturn and is going to oppose, let me go to the 21st, at 14 degrees. Again, this is where oppositions are two people at odds, right? Saturn is very serious. It's thinking long term. It can be very pessimistic. Venus wants to spend all the money, okay? There needs to be balance. There needs to be an awareness. There needs to be or compromise. So be aware of that. Sometimes this could be a mirror of some sort, especially you're dealing with Venus and Libra. So feeling distant or unsupported, relationship boundaries, commitment decisions, loneliness, financial restraint, reassessing what is fair, taking relationships more seriously or too seriously or not serious at all. Okay. Again, this could be some financial restrictions, budget issues, diplomatic restraints, public conversations about fairness, relationship or celebrity could be on a headline. Again, themes on relationships. Okay. We close the week off with August 22nd, and then we have the sun sitting at 29 degrees, sitting very close, well, sitting on top of the South Node. This is releasing something, especially when it comes to your identity, releasing something that deals with your ego, your purpose, your vitality, maybe you being a leader, the ending of a leader, okay? But the South Node represents the past, karma, something that you're familiar with, comfortable with, your natural talents, something that you outgrown, and what you're ready to release. So be ready with that. This could be an identity reset. This could be something that's dealing with leadership reset as well. Seeking validation, performing for approval, needing recognition, ego driven. You know what I didn't do is look up Trump with this. Let me look up Trump and see. This is sitting next to his Mars. There is something that's going to be releasing. All through Leo energy, while we have the stallion in his first house and a huge transformation is happening to him already, we should be seeing it. Or maybe he's intensely serious about power. I know the war thing is huge, but let's see what the South Node does of releasing of some sort. Remember, this is opposition to the North Node, which is in Aquarius, and that opposition is dealing with his partnerships. So again, the sun is going to cause something new to happen in his partners, but something releasing with him. Or maybe a collaboration or building community or sharing ideas. It's like the ego doesn't want to see it. So we'll see how that plays out. Leadership changes, declining interest in personal driven leadership, community organizing around shared values rather than individual personalities. Also to the sun will officially enter Virgo. So again, happy solar Virgo season to get things done and hard work, dedication. I mean, you think that of Capricorn, but I'm too busy with family and traditions for Capricorn season. So for Virgo season is when all the hard work, I start to really work hard. So I need that earth energy. So I get excited around earth season, any earth season. So Capricorn, Taurus. Taurus, I get a little lazy, but really Virgo and Capricorn energy. But it's all about refine your life, creating routines, health and wellness, working smarter. Kids go back to school, things get back to routine. But be careful of being perfect, overthinking, self-criticizing, analyze or criticizing others, analyzing yourself too much, trying to fix everyone else. Okay, just work on yourself. Yeah, but as a collective, this could be dealing with the nurses, healers, the workplace, public health, wellness, education, organization, any type of productivity tools. Like spreadsheets or systems that help you be more efficient every day. So all that becomes more a major theme during Virgo season. And then we close the week off, and that is between August 16th to the 22nd of the week, and that is the third week of August. The theme is maturity, relationships. Again, relationships. This is the third week of August that we're dealing with relationships, but also this is dealing with direction. Mars squaring Neptune, it could be causing some confusion. Mercury trining Saturn, that is going to bring some structure and thinking long term. You do have opportunity with the benefic planets, with Venus and Jupiter being out there in the sky and having a sextile, so there's opportunity here for joy. But Venus is opposing that Saturn, so there is an opposition here for realism when it comes to relationships, mature conversations, emotional boundaries, relationship discussions. Maybe there's a career direction happening for you, or purpose or discipline. Do not confuse temporary discomfort with failure. Some relationships and goals need stronger boundaries, Saturn, to survive. Let me pull some cards for the third week of August. We have the Queen of Wands, fire energy and compassion. This is someone who's very inspiring, right? Confident, independent, social butterfly, creativity, self assured, passionate, determined, charismatic, very Libra energy, vivacious and optimistic. This is going to be the major theme of the week. Dealing with charm, being social, being courageous, but adding this feminine aspect. You don't have to be a male to add that, but this tenderness and compassion with it this week. And then also we have the hangman, looking at things in a different perspective, surrendering, sacrificing, maybe pausing, letting go, waiting for some new perspectives, or just literally waiting. Wisdom, self sacrifice, uncertainty, and contemplation. Also dealing with spirituality and being in tune with your intuition. Major theme for the third week of August. All right. So now let's talk about the last week of August, which starts August 25th. And this is when we close off the month of August. And Mercury is going to conjunct, before it enters Virgo, I'll put it here. Mercury is going to conjunct the South Node. Now you're revisiting some old conversations. Okay. Like, it's like, I thought we put this to rest. No, we're bringing it back up. Past creative ideas are returning. Maybe you're releasing something that needed attention. Maybe you're recognizing pride based communication. People from the past could be reaching out to you, especially my Leos, okay? Reviewing how you express yourself. This can bring a valuable closure, but it can also tempt you to repeat an old pattern that you're comfortable with. So be aware of that. At the same day, we do have the sun entering Virgo, which I already talked about. I don't know why I have that on here. Oh, again, moving too fast, talking too fast. Anyway, then we have Mercury entering Virgo. So before we revisit the past, then we have Mercury entering Virgo. And again, these are major themes. That's what I have, the sun. Instead of the sun, I meant to put Mercury. But this is all about the details of everything and moving and talking slow. Mercury and Virgo loves to talk slow. Again, about details, your health and wellness, about your small pets, and really focusing on work. We have, once Mercury enters Virgo, we have a Cazimi, and Mercury is in the heart. Mercury is in the heart of the sun. This is aha moments, mental breakthroughs, important conversations, better organization, strategic planning, solutions, clearer opportunities, writing and teaching. Huge with coworkers, huge with your employees. This is also huge with your pets. Are you being a healer or a nurse of some sort? Okay. And then we have the partial eclipse happening. Where's my eclipse? That is happening at 4 degrees. It's going to happen August 27th. Do I have the date? Yes, August 27th. And 4 degrees is a Cancer degree. Cancer degree deals with home, family, emotional security, nurturing, healing, ancestry, wherever you feel like you belong, or your sense of belonging and protection. Now, this eclipse is sitting next to the North Node, and the North Node is your destiny. Something new is going to happen, new opportunities, your future, divine timing, what you're meant to develop. It is in the sign of Pisces. It is a full moon. It brings a culmination, a revelation. There is emotional releasing, or maybe there's an ending, but there's still a newness happening. Pisces represents spirituality, surrendering, compassion, dreams, healing, forgiveness, addiction, escapism. Could be dealing with any type of like institutions like hospitals, isolation, creativity, and your intuition. There could be an emotional release. There could be an ending of something. Which brings a new start. We also had that with the other eclipse earlier, but this is an ending. It could be more positive for what I see. heavily communicated because Mercury is involved with this eclipse as well. Again, this Pisces eclipse is at 0 degrees. Strong energy with Neptune at 0 degrees, strong energy with Chiron at 0 degrees. Yeah, so get ready for that. That's a doozy, but we're finishing off here, okay? But I do want you to understand that this eclipse could be dealing with major mental health issues or hospitals or addiction or religion, maybe water related because we do have Pisces, film, music, photography, anything dealing with charity as well. Okay. Mercury opposing this is something like your intuition wants you to really be used here. It's not really logical. It's head versus heart, information overload, emotional conversations, a fact changing your perspective, learning when to analyze and when to let go, releasing being perfect, balancing logic with your intuition. I find the last bit to be a little bit more, okay? So really learning to listen to your gut, and who cares what the details and the facts are. Focus on what your body is telling you or what God is telling you. It is going to be sextile Chiron, so there is some energy with self-worth and healing and security and money and feeling good enough. That works great. It will have bad aspects, this eclipse, with Uranus. So sudden news, unexpected conversations, breakthrough ideas, technology, disruptions. Cancers doesn't like disruptions and wants to feel safe. So there is some issues with not feeling safe, but you're trying to feel safe, okay? So be aware of that. That is what we have for that eclipse. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I didn't mention with the eclipse? It's going to end something but start something. I did say that. Now, on the 28th of um, August, Mercury is in the sign Virgo. It's officially now squaring Uranus. This could be unexpected news this week, okay? Doesn't have to be this day. It could be actually once Mercury enters Virgo, you can have some unexpected news, sudden changes in plan, brilliant ideas, maybe, but it's too different, too unique. A very nervous energy. Anytime Mercury and Uranus is involved, is very anxious, kind of moves a little bit too fast, disrupted schedules, information overloads, arguments, tech problems. Just think Mercury's retrograding that week, okay? The sun is also squaring Uranus, so it's going to highlight these problems, highlight some issues with routines, because it's like, let's break the routine, let's do some unexpected scheduling. Identity that could be shifting, feeling restless, wanting more independence, sudden realizations about your work, about your health, about your day-to-day routines. Something could be happening there, and it is a challenge because who likes change? I do, but not a lot of people. Okay, we're closing off the month with this is positive here, is that Jupiter is trining Saturn. Very positive, very strong. So I like this because you do have two social planets, the social planets being aligned. Fire energy, very passionate, very external. We will see it. Substantial growth, business development, responsible leadership, turning creativity into long term plans. Career could be progressing, teaching and mentoring, positive, building confidence through consistency, positive. This is actually being realistic on your promises as well. Economic planning could be great. This is great for a CEO or any type of corporation. Government leadership, great for that time. A business growth, infrastructure, long-term policy, responsible investment. That's great. I'll tell you what's not great, which we started off with what I was telling you about Venus being very important this month. Well, Venus will officially retrograde, post shadow retrograde, pre shadow retrograde. August 20, was it the 29th or the 31st? 31st is going to pre shadow retrograde at 22 degrees is when it starts to retrograde. Post shadow retrograde. I keep saying post. Pre shadow retrograde. Sorry. This is why I have my notes and I write so many details on my notes, but I continue to say whatever I want to say. So listen, I want you to understand that Venus is a huge theme of the month, and Venus in Libra is all about relationships and aesthetics and fairness and justice and passive aggressiveness. So let's see how this plays out. I'm going to explain the dates real quick. Venus retrograde dates, fully retrogrades October 3rd in 8 degrees in the sign Scorpio. So it will retrograde in Scorpio. It will retrograde in Leo and Libra. Who will be affected by Venus retrograding? Venus retrograde will be affected by the late degrees of of Libra, and the beginning degrees of Scorpio. Also, anyone in late degrees of cardinal signs, which is my Cancers, Capricorns, and Aries, any early degrees of my fixed signs, okay? Because Venus is out here shooting everybody, okay? Early degrees of my fixed signs, which is dealing with my Leo placements, my Taurus placements, and my Aquarius placements, and more importantly, I said Scorpios, okay? October 23rd, it will conjunct the sun in 2 degrees in Scorpio. So October 23rd, maybe we'll get an aha moment happening there. October, when it comes to relationships, on the 25th, it will re-enter Libra at 29 degrees. This is the same day as we have a full moon in Taurus. That's going to be a doozy. Get ready for that. November 13th is when it will officially stop retrograding, but the post shadow phase doesn't end until December 15th. So Christmas shopping will be amazing. After the 15th, I don't know if you should be shopping for Black Friday. Let's see. It stops retrograding, but let's see. Pay attention to themes surrounding any money, relationships, self worth. If you're receiving a gift around that time, you may have some issues there. Anything dealing with beauty, fairness, partnerships, values. When it's in the sign Scorpio, relationships that are very secretive, things that you're attracted to that's very taboo. Also dealing with finances and shared income with your partner, share resources with your partner, all that. The people, questions, and choices emerging now become a part of the Venus story. Venus is huge. Okay, and we close the week 4 off with releasing refinement and sustainable growth. Mercury activates the South Node, it enters Virgo, it reaches a Cazimi, and then it opposes that Pisces Lunar Eclipse. So Mercury is a bigger theme for the last week of August, but we do have some disruption with Uranus. We do have Jupiter being positive with Saturn, but Venus starts to pre-shadow retrograde, okay? Releasing old stories, organizing your life, healing perfectionism, balancing intuition and logic, building something sustainable, reviewing relationships and finances, okay? Let me pull a card. The advice for the last week of August is let the eclipse clear out what no longer aligns. Use the Virgo energy to rebuild and follow a step-by-step plan, because Virgos love a plan. I would do anything you can before Venus starts to pre-shadow retrograde when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your finances and banking. Here are the last cards for August. Let me pull them for you. And let's see what we have here. For the end of August, we have practical reliability. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Things are going to be moving very slow. You need to focus on grounded energy in your finances. Also, for the last week of August, we have manifesting things. Page of Pentacles. Messages are going to be coming about your finances or your health or things that you value. Get ready for that. Also, we have the King of Pentacles. A lot of Pentacles. Hold up. The Page of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. Money, 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 money. Huge theme for the last week of August. Finances, things moving slow, having grounded energy. You are talking about Virgo energy. You are talking about Taurus energy. You are talking about Capricorn energy. And then lastly, we have the Two of Swords. And Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, thinking long term, having structure, literally a physical mountain that you cannot move. Just being grounded and moving slow. Difficulty with decision here. You have one foot in and one foot out. Maybe that's in regards to relationships or finances. Be aware of that. But you're going to be a little confused. You might be avoiding or having some information hidden there as well. Let me see comments here. This full moon, you were getting a hotel room regarding your son. I don't remember. Was I getting a hotel? I wasn't getting. I did travel. No, 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 not me. See, people can tell me stuff because I am here for the presence and I forget the past. I have to work on that and I move too fast. Um, but no, I know my son's going out of town, but no, I don't remember. Give me my exact words. I don't remember. You're probably right, but I don't remember. Also, too, let me give you just overall month of what we're going to experiencing. I did week by week, but we're going to experience some stuff here. Okay. We have the temperance. It's all about balancing here. Okay. Harmony, healing, patience. Again, a lot of Virgo energy at the end of the week. So moving slow, being calm, serenity. Ooh, the high priestess is all about using your intuition. What is God telling you? Things may be listen to your inner voice and God. Okay. Lastly, we put all of the pentacle cards for this month. So there is a huge strength on your body, a sense of belonging, your physicalness, tangible things, thinking long term, being serious, being practical. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and lastly, what the cards are like here, Danyell. We're just trying to confirm what you're saying. Just this month is huge on Venus. Okay, I pulled the Justice card, which is representing Venus too. Libra energy, huge on relationships. Okay, huge on relationships, huge on court. Justice, fairness, universal laws, karma, cause and effect. The truth is revealed. Legal systems, accountability, consequences. What else does Libra represent? Justice, relationships, harmony, balance. Yeah, let's see. And it's going to be said and very important. Now let me say some important dates. August 3rd, Chiron stations retrograde. On the 10th and 11th, Venus and Mercury will activate. Get ready for that. That is finances and communication and relationships. Total solar eclipse on the 12th. We're already feeling that though, but if you want to mark your calendars on the exact day, then something can happen on the 12th. August 15th, Mercury conjunct Jupiter, very positive. There on the 17th, Mars is going to square Neptune. We also have Mercury trining Saturn. So there is mixed energy that day. So being lost in the sauce, however, thinking long term and serious and being grounded, that also happens. Not thinking, but saying. But your energy will be lost in the sauce. August 21st, Venus will oppose Saturn. Major reality check when it comes to relationships because it's been lost this whole beginning of the month. Let me see. We have a Kazemi and a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse on the 27th. Mercury and the sun will square Uranus towards the end of the month. So a lot of surprises and unexpected things happening. And on the 31st, Venus pre-shadow phase will begin at the same time Jupiter is going to trine Saturn. So those are important dates. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm happy that I got this up. Because I was debating on what I should do. Let me see. We have yes. We have our gut feelings. Yes. Listen to our gut feel. Oh, you were saying yes to the tarot reading of the month. I'm reading comments and it's 111. What's 111? Is it the time? It was 111. New beginnings, new future, all about the eye. Great time to be a little selfish, you guys. Okay. Yes. So that is what I have. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to break this long video down into weeks and put it up individually. And then that will give me time to create content for other things that are dealing with astrology, more about politics because I love, and more about learning astrology and I want to create a body of work where you can read your own chart because everyone always asks about themselves and this will give me time to do that. All right. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.